Hello, welcome to another episode of DNA Hardwired, common sense turned upside down. My name is Pop, I'm your host, and with me are my co-hosts, Jackie and Michael. We also have a first-time special guest, Jonathan. Thank you for joining. All right. Thank you for joining us for another exciting episode on Common Sense Turned Upside Down. On our last episode, we covered politics, Donald Trump's election, and homelessness. My daughter liked to refer to it as the unhoused. We really didn't get completely through our topics, so I'd like to just recap a few of the things that we discussed. We started off by talking about the goal for this episode was to talk to the 40% of eligible voters who did not vote. And we're really not trying to appeal to the Donald Trump voters or supporters, because truthfully, I really don't think that we'd be able to have an intellectually honest conversation with those folks. They're loaded and locked in.
Doggone right.
Doggone right. That's Jackie. He loaded and locked in.
Mike, tell him that he's a narrator, not the.
Right. Yeah. So.
He was already went down that rabbit hole. He got it out the
Well, look, I mean, I stand to be checked. You know, if I'm wrong, I stand to be checked. I mean, if the thought is that if the thought.
I don't know about you. Hey, Pop, I don't know where you were last week around this time on the phone call. No. You don't. You do not stand to be checked. When you start talking about Trump, it's over for anybody else trying to get the word in.
Well, I will acknowledge. I will acknowledge that. First of all, let me make sure people understand this. I do not dislike Donald Trump. I do not dislike him, but it's his followers. Truthfully, for me, it's the followers that I kind of have issues with, and I'm even overcoming that. Like I said, I'm not even going to try to concentrate on the followers or Donald Trump. I want to concentrate on those 40% of the folks that didn't vote. But you are right. Sometimes I do get a little emotional with this. For your information, Jonathan. Okay. And again, since we're talking about this, if Jackie brother, am I? Do you think I'm kind of wrong? I got the wrong idea when I say that it appears that the Donald Trump voters and supporters are locked in. Do you think I'm wrong on that one?
No, I don't think this comes down to a right or wrong issue. Because I think that when we're looking at these issues, when we're looking at relationships, politics, whatever, I think the right and wrong thing is the most incorrect way to look at it. I think we have to look at what was going through people's minds that made them vote for Donald Trump over Kamala Harris. What was there? And we touched on it last week. Like when for some black people, when Barack Obama came out and made that statement, it was very disrespectful. That was part of that started a mental pushback.
Could I ask you a question? You said something about. I need to understand what you just said. You said something about Barack Obama and disrespected. I didn't understand that.
Barack Obama, before the election, made a statement against black men.
Oh, he made a statement against black men.
He made a statement. I forgot exactly what the word said, but it was like it was to the point where black men were not intelligent if you didn't vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh, okay.
So with that was started a mental pushback for some black men. So it almost was, I don't care who's on the other side. They're going to get my vote, or no one's going to get my vote. But I know what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to vote and I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris. So a point is this: we have to understand. I think we have to give some type of attention to the mindset of the individuals that did not vote.
Yes.
And that did not vote for, but did not vote for Kamala Harris.
And that's who I want to concentrate on.
I'll end.
Okay. Anybody else got a comment on that?
I do, and I want to share with everybody. This is Jonathan, by the way. I want to share with everybody that I messaged James earlier today because I'd seen a post on there, and I seen a post on Facebook, and it immediately had me thinking, I need to make sure someone's aware of my stance on Donald Trump before I go into this, because while I actually do fancy myself a bit of a not a social activist, because I ain't out there the way a lot of people are. It's more of very, very ingrained in social political issues. And it gets real tough for me not to get very emotional when it comes to politics, specifically this MAGA movement, because when it comes to facts, when it comes to actual bipartisanship, I don't see it, and it's maddening to me that there's a lot of finger pointing, there's a lot of blame, and the mirror never gets held up. I don't understand the concept of accusing an entire side, whether it be Republican or Democrat, of accusing an entire side of being some kind of way, while simultaneously having absolutely no accountability for one's own actions. And I feel honestly that is rampant through the MAGA movement.
Okay. All right. So we've heard from Jonathan. We know where he's standing. Okay. Okay. All right. Did you have anything, Michael?
No, let's get into it.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So I was continuing kind of doing a little recap of some of the things that we went over last week. Jackie had stated that many of the people he knows, the reason that he was hearing that they didn't vote was because they felt that their vote didn't count because of the Electoral College. We still feel that way, basically, Jackie? You must be on mute.
Yeah, I said that.
Okay. Okay. And so, I really and
let me say this. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying a lot, but I have had conversations with a number of people.
And I've heard that before too. Yeah, I've heard that before too, Jackie. Yeah, I've heard that before too. So one of the things I concluded is that many of our voting population really aren't informed on voting and politics and the candidates. So hopefully we can help with that on podcasts like this. But on that Electoral College, let's just look over some facts concerning that Electoral College and really what's going on with it. First of all, what is the Electoral College? It's really a body of people that represent every state in the U.S. And basically what they do is they formally cast their vote for the election of the president and vice president. And their vote is supposed to be based on the voters who actually vote for that particular candidate in that state. That's how it's supposed to work, and it does for the most part. But you got to keep in mind, if you don't vote, your vote definitely doesn't count in that particular election. So if you don't vote, yes, your vote will not count. But if you do vote, your vote will count. If enough of you vote for a particular candidate, then those electors are obligated to vote for that candidate. let me see here. Uh, an, uh, an election in which the winning candidate for president did not win the popular vote. It's only occurred 5 times in U.S. history. Um, there was 5 times where
Hey, Pop, you're breaking up. I'm not sure if you're moving around. You are breaking up a little bit.
okay. Let me. Yeah, I was kind of moving around there. Um,
Okay.
all right. Uh, but there was only 5 times in history where the person who won the presidency through the electoral college didn't also win the popular vote. There's only been 5 times in our political history where that's happened. Uh, and believe it or not, 2 of those times, uh, well, one of them occurred with Donald Trump. One time, Donald Trump won the electoral college.
2016.
What was that again?
2016.
Yes. He won the electoral college, but not the popular vote. But this past election, he actually won both. He actually won the popular vote and also the electoral college. So, for the most part, that electoral college system it does work. One of the big problems with it, though, is this thing, and yeah, some folk may think I'm being a little slanted here, but there's been this big movement with mainly coming from the Republicans, where they're really trying to suppress the vote, and one of the big ways they do that is through gerrymandering the voting districts. The Democrats do it too. I'm not going to just say the Republicans are the only ones that do it, but the Democrats do it too. But the Republicans, as far as trying to suppress the vote, uh, uh, they they've performed this art form. Okay, some of the ways they do it through gerrymandering, which basically they redraw the districts to give the Republicans an advantage. I'm sure you're aware of the news where Texas, Governor Abbott just did that in Texas because they were trying to pick up 5 more seats, right? In anticipation of the midterm elections. So the governor of California, he's in the process of trying to do the same thing to counter it. But anyway, this gerrymandering thing. Um, the Republicans they're making these voting laws more restrictive, limiting mail-in voting, strengthening voter ID laws, shortening early voting, eliminate all the. There's all these things you're doing. The Democrats aren't doing this. They're doing the opposite. They're trying to make a thing, make it easier to vote. So just keep that in mind when some of these voters are talking about how uh, uh, your vote don't count. So just keep that in mind. Um, unless I'm wrong, are any of you guys aware of some of the ways that the Democrats are trying to suppress the vote?
Oh, not even. How'd it go?
Okay.
I personally feel like any time rules are changed, eyebrows should be raised.
Yes.
You look at any type of problem solving method, you look at what's the end result supposed to be and what's the reason for it.
Right.
Like why are we redistricting? And what's the end result? And it points clearly
right
to what they're trying to do.
Right. Jackie?
And I agree with that. Every administration through history has want to do it, have made an attempt to swing the pendulum in their favor going forward. So gerrymandering, I'm not surprised the Republicans are doing it. I think that the counteract Democrats want to give everybody in this country, whether they're citizens or not, the opportunity to vote, which is I think what they were doing the last election. So I think there's something that I think there's shadiness on both sides of the.
Well, on that note about the Democrats trying to get people who aren't eligible to vote, how do they do that? I'm just curious. I've heard that before too, but I'm just curious. How do you get a person who's not eligible to vote? How do you get them to vote?
But it actually comes from the illegals that were coming into this country.
And how do they vote?
You shouldn't have a say. You should not have a say.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. So how are the? I think I'm yelling, but how are the? How?
My point is that was one of the talking points from the last election. Do you remember?
Yeah, I remember. But here's my thing.
So
We can't. Let's not get it. Go. No, you go ahead.
I said no. How they were doing it behind the scenes, I don't know.
Well, then how you know they were doing it?
Typically, where there's smoke, there's fire.
No. How do you know they were doing it? If you don't know how they were doing it,
No.
and the Republic, let me finish. The Republicans are the ones that was saying that this was going on. And look, man, I keep saying this. I have to give Republicans credit where credit is due. Those folks are good at bullshit. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this is what we're talking about right now is bullshit. They talk about how the Democrats are allowing these illegals to vote. Now they're in power. They're in complete control, everything, right? How many cases have they showed you where there was an illegal who somehow voted? How many cases have you seen that they showed you?
The only point that I was making, I said this was one of the talking. Now, how they were doing it, no, I don't know. And if and was it ever shown? I don't think so. But that was one of the talking points. The only point that I was making is both sides of the aisle have the propensity to want to shift that pendulum in their favor for their presidential. I mean, for their party.
I agree with that.
That's the point that I was making.
I do agree that both parties would like to have an advantage, but what we were talking about, you made the point about these illegals, and all I'm trying to say is I think the Republicans are real good with this. They throw this stuff up against the wall, and some of it stick and some of it don't, and that's one of those things that stuck with a lot of voters is that somehow the Democrats were able to get these illegals to vote, and I'm just waiting for someone. And maybe you can do some research for us, Jackie. I'm just waiting for someone to provide me at least a couple of these illegal immigrants who've been able to vote, cast their vote, and they counted. I just want a couple. I don't want 100. I don't want 1,000. I'm just looking for a couple. But anyway, I don't know if anybody else had any comment on that.
By their own standards, by what they've changed in ending birthright citizenship, hate mongering and what they call these illegals that are destroying the country and being allowed to vote. Trump would not be allowed to. Musk would not be allowed to. Melania would not be allowed to. And that, in essence, is why I have such a beef with the talking points that they do provide. And Jackie's 100% right. They yell it, they scream it, they keep going until people repeat after them. It's almost like a drill in hypnotism, because on one hand, and that's my whole thing about it. On one hand, to say this is what the Democrats are doing, and I know that's the talking point of the Republicans. I know, Jackie, you ain't necessarily saying that's what's happening, but
no. Let me check you. Let me check. No, he is saying that's what's happening with the Democrats. In case you didn't know, this is your first time on the show, Nathan. But no, that's what he is saying. That the Democrats, doing the same stuff that the Republicans are doing. You heard him say that the Democrats are having these illegals vote.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
No, I said
he said it was a talking
point during the run up to the last election.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm sorry, Jackie. I'm sorry, Jackie. I apologize. See, that's why I need some folks checking me, because I thought you was agreeing with that. I thought you was agreeing that there were illegals voting. So you're saying you don't believe that? You don't believe that?
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I agree that there were illegal voting. I said that was one of the talking points.
Oh, so you don't agree with that, though?
Listen to those talking points.
No, I'm asking you a question.
There were illegal voting.
No, I'm talking to Jackie.
I do not believe, let me put this out here. I do not believe that there was people voting in the last presidential election.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, done now. You ain't gonna beat me up no more. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
That's the issue. You know, we have we've got a lack of education from the voters that we're talking about, and they're being led from a lack of education in our officials, because they're saying these things. They're saying the illegals are doing this. They're saying it's the wrong way of voting, and they themselves do it. But they're able to run off of those platforms. You're right. The bullshit that they spin and throw up there, even if they know by their own right they're not going to live that way, they'll still campaign on it like it's true. That's wild to me.
Okay. So still kind of recapping from last week. On last week's episode, I think that at least for the last 50, 75 years or so, the Democratic Party appear to represent the interests of the Black and other minority communities more than the Republican Party. Am I correct? Because this is what's still confusing me about that 40%. If you're a minority, and for the last 50 or 75 years or so, you've been watching, you've been tracking who've been supporting your needs. I'm thinking that you should be able to see that the Democrats, for the most part, have been supporting the needs of minorities a hell of a lot more than Republicans, and Republicans appear to be trying to suppress those needs. Am I right? Am I wrong there? Are we set on that from last week, or what? Where am I off at?
Tony, you there? Hello? I think you're right. You nailed it down.
Oh, okay. So we're all kind of in agreement with that it appears that the Democrats represent the interests of minorities more than the Republicans, and therefore the Republicans seem to suppress. And that's what's still so confusing with me about that 40% that said, I'm setting this one out. That's what's so confusing to me is why are you setting this out when you should be able to see?
Let me tell you why.
Okay, go ahead.
Let's address the big elephant in the room.
Okay.
You have a segment of people in this country, college educated, highly intelligent. One of the people I talk to is law school. Very disenchanted was very upset with the current state of affairs during the run-up to the election, with the state of the country, all of that. They were upset. Going back to the rhetoric that was coming out of Trump's mouth was not any rhetoric that was bringing us together. He didn't speak. It wasn't spoke about bringing us together. Number one. Number two, the Democrats. When Kamala Harris, back in the day, on that stage in Atlanta, Georgia, of all places, to twerk, that turned a lot of educated Black brains straight off. And you talk about the 40% had nothing to do with politics. It was a disrespect. You mean to tell me that you, as a presidential candidate, you're gonna put a sister up there to twerk, to show her ass on stage at the DNC? Are you serious? And all of a sudden, you in Atlanta, where you got Spelman, Morehouse, Georgia Tech, you got Georgia, you have a bevy of schools of highly intelligent, successful Black entrepreneurs and corporate American people in Atlanta. And this is what you decide to do in our city. How much more disrespectful can you be as a Black woman to the representation of voters, to the demographic of voters?
Let me ask you this question, Brother Jackie. Which would you prefer if you had to vote? Because that's what it's coming down to. We're talking about those 40% that didn't vote. And this is one of the reasons you said that they may not have voted for Kamala, was she was twerking. Which would you rather have? Would you rather have a sister on the stage dancing, because that's what twerking is? It's dancing. Would you rather have a sister on stage twerking, or would you rather have a president who says you can grab her by the pussy? Well, now let me finish. No. Let me finish. No, Jackie. Let me finish, and I'm gonna let you make your point. All right. Okay. Let me go. So those are your choices. Let's just limit it to that, since you brought up twerking and disrespect. You've got a president of the United States who's saying you can grab her by the pussy, and she don't mind. So go ahead, brother. You respond to that.
Now, we pretend like we don't do this. We all been in that. Let's go back to when he made that comment. Donald Trump made that comment. He said it was locker room talk. We've been in the locker room. Not play. Let's not pretend that we hadn't heard men in that same status, in that same vein.
And I've never seen a sister twerk either.
Hold on. Now, when he made that comment, he was not running for president. He was not in politics. He was a private business owner. And that was a recorded from his private business feed. Now, we had Kamala Harris that's running for president. She's been in politics for damn near her whole life. And this is what you brought to the table. Very bad representation. So with that being said, let's look at it. Now you ask me, who would the person choose to be? Why would the person choose a Donald Trump? I prefer the devil I know than the devil I don't.
Okay. And then Michael, did I hear you say good point?
That was the point.
Okay. All right.
I'm not, and I say that I'm not partial in either way, but if you want to dive into that 40%, I think people, to some extent, politics largely is the game. And I think people are tired on both sides, like you said, the sister twerking on stage, they felt disrespected. And yeah, we know what Trump brings to the table. So if you at that rally and you going for Kamala and you feel disrespected, you might in the end say, to hell with it all. I don't want to deal with either side.
No.
Now, obviously that works to the advantage of Trump.
Donald
Trump. That's why I said last week it was just as much as the Democrats to lose as it was for Trump to win.
Yeah. And see, when we start going down a certain rabbit hole, this is what we end up with. I know when Donald Trump was campaigning on stage, he was acting like he was giving somebody a blowjob. I saw that. Now, that was when he was running for president. So now we can go down this rabbit hole back and forth. What it still comes down to is we got choices. And usually it's one or two. We either go to the Democrats or Republicans. We've already said a little earlier, I think we said this, I think we agreed, that it appears that over history, the last 75 years or so, the Democrats appeared to represent minorities more than Republicans, and the Republicans tended to repress the minorities more than Democrats. I don't care what these little side notes and these little talking points, we can go all night long. We can go back and forth. But what we end up with is who will probably represent me more. That's what it comes down to me, in my mind.
But I think what you're seeing, people are coming to their mind that I'm not represented enough, so to hell with it all.
Come on.
That's what I think we are starting to see the start of. People are so dissatisfied, and once you get to a certain percent of that, it's going to bring about a change. People are saying, I'm not represented enough, I'm being taken for granted, so to hell with it all.
Well, there's nothing I can do.
I don't feel, another mindset is, I don't feel I'm represented at all, and I share the reflection, one of the ones that's on stage running.
Okay, and so I guess this is my problem, and I'll be honest with you guys. This is me. This is a lifelong problem that I've had. This is a lifelong problem that I've had. I think too logically, and I'm gonna acknowledge this. Sometimes, and this is probably what I'm doing with this issue. Sometimes I see things too black and white. And so again, it comes back to this. I have to choose one or two people to represent me. But neither one of them are perfect. Neither one of them are perfect. But I have to pick one of those two because one of them, in the end, at the end of the day, one of them is going to represent me. And based upon history, based upon my own personal experience, based upon my personal knowledge, that person there, their side, they have a history of helping me, supporting me, representing me. The other side, they have a history of suppressing me, holding me back, pushing me back. Those are my two choices. And like I said, I acknowledge my fault here. I acknowledge my fault for being too black and too white. I need to be more gray, into which I get caught up in these talking points when people are trying to lead me one way or lead me the other way. When I have common sense and I'm able to see with my own eyes, because that's what this podcast is about. Common sense. This is what drove me to do this podcast. Shit is all upside down. How are you going to vote for somebody who you've already acknowledged suppress you and not vote for the person that you said supports you? I don't get that.
They've danced on the gray with oh, my bad. You mind if I hop in?
No, go ahead. I'll follow up.
So when it comes to politics and both sides wanting to do something to bolster their goals, bolster their place, both of them, that's when they start digging into the gray. You take, for example, what's the party that is known for starting the KKK? Republicans are real quick to throw that out there when it comes to voting against a particular side that looks a certain way. They did that finger pointing, right? When we look at what we believe the Democrats have statistically stood for or shown or represented, well, people are able to say, hey, now Biden and Kamala and everything that they did as far as helping with getting our people incarcerated for some minor drug offenses. Those Democrats ain't for you. Come on and play around on this side a little bit. And that's the danger of how extreme we become in our politics. It should not be one side versus the other. The two parties were supposed to be just so that you can see the possibilities of issues and come to bipartisan agreement. And our parties have become entirely too red or blue, as opposed to we all supposed to be working together for something. They're real good at telling us, okay, Democrats look at this, Democrats want that. How many of those Democrats can we at least turn undecided by the Republican-like things that Democrats have done? They got real good at dancing in the gray, and vice versa. Democrats do the same thing to Republicans.
I'd have to agree with that. I agree with that.
I would agree. I would agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, to follow up to what you were saying, Pop, you're saying that you have a party that has a history of holding us back, i.e., people of color, black people, minorities, whatever. So the other side looks more inviting. Well, the flip side of that is Democrats have known to come to their community, those communities, drum up the vote, and forget who put them in office once they won that election. I got it all. That is what has been said through since I've been old enough to understand these elections. I've heard that from parents, from my aunt, growing up. Didn't understand it until I got a little older. So I didn't put it together until I got a little bit better. So you have a statement now of young people that I'm making my own decision. I'm not going to vote Democrat because Mama voted Democrat, Granny voted Democrat, Auntie voted Democrat, Uncle voted Democrat. So I'm just going to go along and give them. No, I'm going to pay attention to what I can see, what I can hear, what I can read. I'm going to make a decision off of that. And if no candidate is going to speak to that, I'm going to walk away or if the opposing candidate speaks to that, I'm going to go there. So because if you remember, Trump said in the first election, run up to the first election, run to the 2016, he stated, black people, what do you have to lose? If you don't believe that resonated with a large demographic of black Americans, you have messed up. That resonated with a lot of black people in this country. Really, what do we have to lose? We know what the Democrats have given in the past. We know what the Republicans are about. The Republican Party is that party that was viewed from an aesthetic standpoint. They were middle to old white men that you would dress up, that you can literally say they remind you of the 40s and 50s and 60s down south. Slave masters.
So Jackie, so Jackie, one of the reasons I interrupt you is because this is a good technique that the Republicans use, and so I don't want it used here. You make a point, and then you move on to another point, and then we forgot the point that you made. So I'm gonna stop you right here, real quick, on one of the points that points that you made.
That's fine.
The statement.
No heartbreak take.
All right. So the statement that you made that the black folks fell for, and maybe the first election, maybe this one. What do you have to lose? Let me just ask yourself this question, because like I said, I'm a pretty black and white person. I try not to get too caught up in gray areas. But now and I'm asking you to correct me, or anybody else, correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, this is not an opinion. This is something that I'm observing. One of the things that black people in specific, one of the things that we have to lose by putting Donald Trump in office, one of the things that's going on right now, this is just one of them, and it's a huge one, your damn history. You have your damn history for one thing to lose. Tell me if I'm wrong. Does it appear or not? Maybe some of you guys aren't keeping up with the media and with the news, but what I've been keeping up with is Donald Trump is trying to change black history. He's trying to undo, let me finish. He's trying to undo what's been done. That's one of the things you people can lose. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Mark. I know you're about to say something.
No, I agree with that. And that's as sick to my stomach as that makes me. And I agree it's horrible. And that's hindsight now.
No, it wasn't hindsight. Sorry, brother. Sorry. I'm gonna let you finish, brother. I'm gonna let you finish, but it's not hindsight. We know damn well who Donald Trump was. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm saying what he's doing now. But the point that I'm making, going on what Jackie said when he said, black folks, what do you have to lose? Well, if you're a black person and you're upset, or you feel like Democrats haven't fulfilled their word to you, if he can just cause you to pause and doubt and not vote, the devil has won.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But who is that on? Is that on Donald Trump? Let me ask you a question. Is that on Donald Trump? Is that on Kamala Harris? Is that on the voters? Who's that on for falling for the damn rope-a-dope? Go ahead, Michael.
Can I add something? Go ahead, Michael. My bad.
That's on two people. That's on the voter first and foremost, but it's also on the Democrats. Since you want to present yourself as your champion of black people, what do you have in answer? What have you done to secure their vote? So if a black person now call you on your word and say, if you don't show me, you ain't getting my damn vote, and your pockets are empty, you haven't shown anything, that's on you too. Now you the one out of office, you the one who was in the minority, and you're crying and trying to find a way back in power. First on those two people. And who's winning? Donald Trump. So that's where the whole entanglement comes from what I see.
I hear you.
Let me add something. Let me add a layer to that too. Just like a murder trial, Pop. All you got to do is create doubt.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
And that's how they live.
And that's exactly what they was. That's exactly what was running out. They didn't have to prove they had the right. All they had to do was break it down.
I agree with that.
All they had to do was make you question. So It didn't take what you think it took. Not saying you. It didn't take all what you thought it took.
I agree with you. I've already given the Republicans credit. I've already given them credit. They are good at what they do. I've already given them credit. I can't doubt them. I can't say they were dumb or stupid. No, they're good. That's why I want to do this podcast, and I hope more people do talk about this. But go ahead. I'm sorry, whoever was speaking.
This is Jonathan. Pop, think about this. I'll tell you something. For the election, this recent one, to have ended the way it did, the result the way it did, just like the last one in which Trump was elected, for it to end the way it did, that was almost enough for me to completely believe ain't no point in this broken system. Come on. There's so much, like, think about this. I know I personally, and I'm talking about working at a mortgage company back in the day, high end, like we have nice car, nice suit, everything. I'm one of the pillars of community. And one of the first times I was over 30 years old thinking I was about to die at the hands of cops. A black man was the president. Now, for me, as a veteran that has seen stuff overseas and got to see what the world's like while we over here talking about stuff in politics, being the champions of the world, or thinking we are, it was enough for me to try to keep faith in everything. But it wasn't just the Republicans who were so good at spinning that and making just the right numbers feel hopeless. It's a real tough system for people to continually, year after year, keep hope in. And I say this as somebody that's even angrier and gonna fight harder for what I believe in. But it's plenty of stuff that'll make people just put up their hands and say, you know what, forget it.
I agree with you. I agree with you. And again, I fault myself for this. Even as long as I can remember, I'm a black and white person. I got two people. One person punched me in my mouth. Every day, punched me in my mouth. And I got the other person every day beat the shit out of my ass. And I got to choose one of those two people. And they're both saying nice, sweet things to me. Both of them. Sweet things to my ear. But one gives me one nice punch in the mouth, and the other one beats the shit out of my ass every day. And I got to choose. And ain't no setting it out. Ain't no hiding and saying, well, I'm just going to hide and I'm just going to. No, they're going to hunt my ass down. And one of them is going to punch me in the mouth and one of them is going to beat the shit out of me. I got to choose which one I'm going to go with. For me, because again, I'm black and white. And like I said, that could be a problem because life ain't always black and white. I acknowledge that. There's some gray areas. But that's how I'm looking at this. Sorry, go ahead.
Let me say this. I get you're logical. You're looking at this very logical. But I said on this podcast, I think 3 podcasts ago, 2016, I'm in Levine. I'm still in Phoenix at the time. I'm standing up there about to vote, and I remember thinking, it's 2016, and the best you got to offer me as a citizen is Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. And I made the decision to vote for Hillary Clinton. Donald Trump won. So now, take that same mentality and take that into the last election. Now, all you got to offer me now is Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. Some people say, you know what, the hell with both of them. The hell with both of them. Because if we remember, Hillary Clinton backed up the 1994 crime bill with Joe Biden and was called a young black men super president.
A punch in the mouth. That was a punch in the mouth. Donald Trump is beating your ass. Donald Trump is beating your ass. Go ahead.
Hold on, let me tell you why it's not a punch in the mouth. Because Donald Trump was never in politics. He wasn't beating nobody. Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, they're lifelong politicians. They've been around a long time. So it wasn't just a punch in the mouth. They're the one whooping your ass every day. Donald Trump was a punch in the mouth. You got it back.
Donald Trump represents the Republicans, and the Republicans beat your ass. The Democrats punch you in the mouth. I don't care who's heading the ticket. I don't care who's heading the ticket.
I'm gonna tell you.
That's how it's been.
Hold on. I'm gonna tell you that was not no. Let me tell you where you're wrong now. I'm not saying wrong. Let me tell you the other side. There are people that did not feel that way.
I agree with
there
you.
There were young black people that did not feel that way. They
I
did
agree.
not feel that Hillary Clinton. Oh, but what? They did not feel that Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden had a history of speaking to the needs of our community.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they right or wrong, that's why I say we can't go down the road of right or wrong. You got to go to the mindset of what was going through the individual that voted opposite or that did not vote. What was their mindset? And I've had some of these conversations. Some people did not forget that 1994 primary. You forget that. Do you remember the year prior to that? The year prior to that, HBO put out a special. They banging in Little Rock. The year prior to that, they put out HBO had a special. They're banging in Little Rock.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't forget that. They demonized the community, them too. And I'm not saying right or wrong. I'm just speaking to the mindset of the people that are standing in the voting 2016.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I remember the first time I voted. We talking about this Johnson. We talking about Atlanta, Georgia, right? Going up there. This is back when it was one of our cities. I was a young man. My first time voting, going to school at Morehouse College. It was a whole thing, boy. I tell you, we went and voted, and we knew who won. We knew our guy had won. Our Democrat had won, and they pulled all that mess they did and put George in office. George W. Bush.
I remember that.
I remember that.
Man, and again, I'm 18. And that was like back then. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, so this is how it works. I'm telling you, all me and the brothers and sisters at Spelman and everybody, like we were celebrating before it get out and go vote. The teachers that we hated all the time, they were in those booths with us and everything, and then that happened. There's so many of those things that have turned, and the system's designed to do. It's designed to turn people.
It's designed to put a question mark in your head. It's designed to keep a question mark in your head. I think the more confused you keep the people, the more their agenda gets pushed.
That's the game. Yeah, that's the game of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Create doubt, set a smoke screen, make up a false issue and beat the hell out of it to where enough folks believe it are cashed out and I win.
Mm-hmm.
Let me say, Pop.
Yes, I'm listening.
For you, Pop.
I'm listening.
No question. We know about we know how I vote. Let's say I was 100% wrong in casting my vote the way I did. Give me what the alternative is on the other side. That's what some people think. Give me the alternative. What would the other side? What would they have done that would be?
You asking me a question?
That would have been better.
You asking me a question?
That's a question.
Here,
it could be rhetorical, but it's a basic question.
Yeah, maybe one of those other guys can answer that question. I'm gonna give them an opportunity. What if Jack? And I'm not gonna say your vote was wrong, Jackie. I think everybody's got to vote the way they think they need to vote. I don't think it's a right or wrong vote. Okay, but what do you guys do? You see anything that might be done a little different if Kamala Harris were president now? Can you think of? Give me one thing that might be different, that might be better. Just one.
I feel personally that this was the first election that I was legit afraid for how it's turning out, to be honest with you. Before it was like whoever's the president is just a puppet. We're all of us, we ain't meant to be represented as much as those people in office are representing themselves and their interests. But we had all the signs going up to this one after Trump's last presidency that they planned on rewriting history, restructuring our workforce and everything. We've had all the signs, and whether people think it's a conspiracy theory or not, it's one thing that this is the first time that I was like, if the votes go one way, then a lot of the things we fear is going to happen. But before that, I just thought it was just going to be a clown in either a red or a blue suit. And I just still voted the way I thought would have been best just in case.
So, what are your thoughts now, though, Nathaniel? Do you, Nathan? Do you think that it would have been better under Harris, maybe, than Trump right now?
Me, you talking Jonathan? Me?
Yeah.
I think it would have been better.
Yeah, because this is kind of help answering the question that Jackie asked me. You guys are helping me answer that question. Okay, so you think it might be better?
I'm still doubtful. I got to be honest with you. Until
well, let me ask you this:
just got to a point that we're seeing Democrats actually have some sort of spine, because under Biden's administration, stuff was still all the rights and stuff that they weren't going to let get repealed. It did get repealed. The stuff still happened the way they promised us it wasn't going.
Okay. What about you, Michael?
It's tough to say. What I do love about this one being in office now,
okay,
is I think enough people are going to get their balls about them to adjust our overall political way of doing things. That's my hope.
And you're talking about the Democrats, probably?
I'm talking about the people. I'm talking about the people.
People, period.
I need the people to quit counting on Democrats to save us, Republicans.
I got you.
That's
what I need.
I got you.
That's the good thing that I said when Trump won. I said, well, things happen for a reason. Maybe some get in there, and it turns out as horrible as we think it would be for some of us. Maybe people will stop being so dependent on government and learn to do something for ourselves. And it doesn't matter who's in there. If we're more, as a community, if we're more accountable and responsible on some things ourselves, and stop sitting back waiting for government to do for us what we should and can do for ourselves, it don't matter who in there. We got us. So that's been my biggest gripe with our people running behind the Democrats. I remember when I was 18 years old, everybody crazy about Bill Clinton. I'm like, why can't we do things for ourselves? Yeah, let them do what they're gonna do. But that's the gravy on the potato. We got the potato. We do for us and our community, and we hold that down and start waiting for somebody else to do for us what we should be doing. Now, as far as what would be better if what's the name, Harris had won? I don't know. I don't think it would be as chaotic, so to speak, with the guards in DC and what's going on with the immigrants. I don't think that would be happening. The stock market wouldn't have a roller coaster, even though it rebound and is up higher. As far as foreign policy, wars with Israel and Ukraine, I don't think Israel would feel as free to attack like they have done under Trump. So, but this all what if? I don't know for sure. I mean, I hope, but I really don't know for sure.
And that's all we're doing. We're going with what our thoughts and opinions are, and hopefully it may resonate with some folks. Hopefully we may learn among ourselves as we're talking, to ourselves, to each other.
Right.
But so Jackie, and so I agree with all that those guys said as far as what the difference might be under Harris. Again, I come back to some of the things that it appears that Donald Trump and his administration is doing. The thing with removing people that are in positions that could keep him in check. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, or if that kind of went under the radar, where he's taken people out of certain positions that would ordinarily, they would be checking on him. I don't know if you guys know this, but Donald Trump, when he came in office, I think he was worth about 2.1 billion or something like that. That fella, he up around 6 point something billion now. He's only been in office 8 months. So I don't know if there's anything to that, but I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jackie.
Well, I was going to piggyback on this. going back to, I think Michael had alluded to this point. Like, overall, our community, it's like we're always looking for some damn safety. And I get tired of it. I'm a black man that went out here, went to school, educated, retired Air Force, all of it. I don't need a handout. I may need a hand up. Like, I don't want your money, but can you give me some clues on how to help me, that can help me go ahead and help me get my own and stand on my feet? I don't want you to give me a fist. How about teaching me how to fish? That's what I'm talking about. And see, my thing is that with that right there, we have it within our own community how to do that. The thing that's worked on us is we don't trust and appreciate. We don't trust the person standing next to us to share our reflection. Right. We are our own worst enemy. And I had this conversation last week with somebody else on another podcast and it got very easy. Like, I am not saying that there's not been a systemic approach to racism and all that stuff in this country, holding black people back or any other racial demographic. However, I am responsible ultimately for what I do and where I go. So that obstacle that I need to overcome, at some point in time, we just have to look at it. That's what I got to get over right now. You can't sit outside a company and say, hire more black people. No, your job is to get in and begin try to change from the inside. Because standing outside, you're not affecting anything on the inside. Now, again, that's in a perfect world, and I know the world is imperfect. But I have to go to people that look like you, Pop, people that look like you, Michael, and Jonathan, from the sound of your voice being in Atlanta, I would assume you black. So I have to speak and say, okay, who's good at, who does what, who's good at this? This is what, let's figure out a way to come together and begin to move some of this down the road. That's all I'm saying. And I digress. But I'm tired of us looking for the handout. I am.
Okay. All right. So we're almost up on an hour, and basically we got into our recap from last week. But that's cool. That's okay. That's okay. We hopefully, God willing, we'll have next week, and we'll continue with this conversation. I really appreciate you guys, joining in, and the listeners also. But I think what we'll do is we'll call this one to a close here. But any last comments? I think it's been interesting. Go ahead, Jackie.
Let me interject something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I have two cousins here. I'm in Jonathan, I'm no longer living in down. So I have two cousins here. One is my age, one's about 10 years less. Brother.
How old are they, Jackie? How old are they?
One is my age. I'm 54.
Right.
And his brother is 43.
Oh, okay.
Like 11 years different.
Okay. All right.
So their father started the business and went dormant for like 25, 30 years. They picked it back up. Anyway.
Do you know what the business was? Can you share what the business was?
It's a masonry and construction business.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's bricklaying business.
Okay.
And so now they're doing construction and real estate, all this right. So yesterday I'm at a golf tournament. The Soto ISD out here got a big pond, and they're trying to get in on some of the business. So I'm at a golf tournament yesterday with these guys and other people. And what was impressive to me, I'm in a room, and the majority of that room looked like me. There was no fight. There was no worrying about who's gonna say what. None of that. That's what I'm talking about. I'm moving the needle, because you're meeting with the city council who's black. You're meeting with the mayor. You're meeting with these people. That is where the change is affected on the ground level, not up here in the White. It's affected. The change starts at the ground level. That doesn't mean I got all the answers, but my point is this: we need to be learning to get involved with some of this stuff and quit sitting on the sidelines and not putting our hand in the mix. And Jonathan, you mentioned you was a mortgage guy. I was a mortgage broker in Phoenix. Didn't know my background is banking. And so a lot of times I'm the only one that shares my reflection in that room. I got a responsibility to carry myself. Like, so the next guy that shows up, I don't kill them by my action in that moment.
Agreed.
Okay. All right. Last thoughts, Michael?
No. I'm good. That sums things up well. I enjoyed everything today, so I'm good with it.
All right. Good. Great. All right, Jonathan, new guy.
Hey, I really, really appreciate y'all having me on here. I appreciate you encouraging me to follow through, because I had some assumptions. It was like, you know what, let me back off. But this is something we need to do.
Right.
That more of us need to do. So thank you.
Right.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Jonathan, you the new guy, but I like what you bring to the table. So
Yes.
I think, but I think we're good enough where we are, bro. You are too. So
Yes.
let's keep doing what we do.
Right. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right.
And we just can't bring up Trump with Pop, because he gonna jump off Mount Everest. He don't care where he lands.
I'll be honest. I keep telling folks, I do not dislike Trump. Nobody. I'll tell you what. Nobody that knows me can ever say I ever said I don't like Trump. It's not Trump. He's my president. The majority of people elected him. I go with that. I'm one of those people who walk in line, so to speak. I don't jump out of line too much. He's our leader. I'm going to follow him. But I would prefer if we had another leader, because of the way he appears to be leading us. And so I would really love, I'm serious about trying to appeal to those 40%, 40%ers. We don't need all 40%. If we get a good 5 to 10% of those people who didn't vote, we'll be okay. Because I don't believe that the majority of those 40%ers were Trump supporters. Like I said, the Trump supporters, you guys got it going on. Y'all know exactly what you're doing. You've been given your marching orders. You know what the mission is, and you have completed it. You are completing it. So I have no problem with the Trump supporters or followers. My problem is with those 40%ers who are sitting on the sideline, and who I suspect majority are probably more left leaning. Those are the people I have a problem with. And hopefully we can appeal to them. But anyway, guys, I really appreciate all of the input, and look forward to taking this up again next week. Thank you, listeners.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Think it through, people.